Welcome back to the Grind, Sleep, Repeat podcast. On today's episode, we are going to be going over the results of my half marathon.
Yeah, Alyssa crushed it this weekend. Not going to be a spoiler alert, but we're going to kind of go through her half marathon. We've been doing a lot of topics leading up to this. We're going to talk about how it went, things that you can implement into your half marathon race day as well, pre-fueling strategy, hydration, fueling within the workouts, pacing, all those types of things. And then we kind of want to talk about what's next on our podcast, topics that we're going to be covering in the future. And kind of the direction that we're going to be going. Because up to this point, we've really been covering a lot of running specific topics. So moving forward, we're going to kind of pivot a little bit, still talk about running, lifting, and just get into some different topics that we can cover on the podcast.
Yeah, but not to make this totally about me, I have to give a shout out to Jordan and Cashton for bringing these signs. We'll have to post on here.
I'll put some pictures up on the screen.
Yeah, some clips of them. They were my biggest fans. They made these really cool signs that definitely got me through the run, and they have like water stops throughout the race, but Jordan brought our Fit Grind electrolytes in like a running water bottle, which was lifesaver because when you are trying to drink out of those cups, the water is like spilling everywhere and it's just water. So it was nice to have the running water bottle that he would bring to me, and I would just take a couple sips and throw it off to the side and he would grab it. So I had my own little team.
That's right.
To help me get through it.
That's right. So yeah, I think, I was pretty bummed that I wasn't able to run this half marathon. I had the plans of doing that. If you guys don't know, I sprained my right ankle about 9 weeks ago, and then 2 weeks later, I sprained my left ankle. So I was out. I was thinking about trying to maybe run the half marathon, but like the more I kept thinking about it, the competitive side of me was like, run it, you'll be fine. Just figure it out, tape it up, and you'll be good. But I tried to listen to the intelligent side of myself,
the trainer
side, like give yourself some time. If you hurt it again, you're going to set yourself back even further. You're on your feet all day here at the gym, so you can't afford to be out. So I ended up not running it, but I was like, let's just be exactly what I would want on race day. So we were Alyssa's number one fan squad, and it was fun. I think me and my son, our 4-year-old Cashton, had fun with it, made some signs, and we would drive and go at different stops to see her, and so we had fun with it. And obviously Alyssa crushed it. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about your results, and let's talk about race day leading up to that. What are some tips that you can give around running a half marathon or any sort of race to set yourself up for success and really PR your next race?
Yeah, for sure. So there's always going to be things in life that happen, and just to be completely upfront, I did have a death in the family. My grandma passed away this same week of the race, so we ended up having to travel because she lives in Colorado. So we did have to go to Colorado. So that kind of put a curveball in everything. So that kind of gave me some anxiety too of like, do I want to do this still? And so I turned that mindset into, I'm going to run this for my grandma. So I think that definitely gave me a lot more motivation. I know a couple of points during the run, I was like, come on, grandma, I need some strength. Help me through this. So that was really cool to have that in the back of my head too, and use that as inspiration and motivation to get through the race. But yeah, there's going to be things in life that happen. And I know that's a very extreme situation that we ran into, but we did have to travel. So typically that week before the race is a taper week anyways. So I'm really trying to let my legs recover so that when I come into race day, they're fresh and ready to run 13 miles. So I think that was tough because we were in the car. We literally left to go to Colorado Thursday morning and turned around and came back home Friday morning. So a lot of travel, a lot of sitting. So with that being said, I knew that I had to get in a little bit of jogging to get some, movement in my lower body that day that we came home on Friday. So Friday I did a little jog, a lot of stretching, some sauna red light therapy, and really fueled my body. So kind of getting into the fueling process, you really want to hydrate within 24 hours of the race because you want to fill up glycogen and have those stored and ready to go for a race. So you wanna do that 24 hours before the race. So on the way home, we weren't really moving, we're sitting in the car. I'm trying to really carb up Friday, Saturday. So yeah, just tapering that week before and still hitting the weight room, but not at the level of intensity that I would typically be hitting things. I really took it back a couple steps. Obviously, with all the stress going on as well, you don't want to add more stress to the body when you're already going through some emotional stress as well.
Yeah, for sure. And Alyssa crushed. I mean, our plan was 12 weeks. She crushed it. You could significantly see like throughout the 12 weeks that you were getting faster. Like every time she'd have her race, or not her race, her run on her Garmin, she'd have her mileage and her average split, and heart rate. And like you could see the fitness building. And I think that can't be understated enough that if you're serious about trying to run a race and you want to PR it and you want to set a goal, you have to have a good training program to get you to that goal. You can't just show up. You can't just start running. You have to be running specific distances with specific paces. And that's really what we created with our program that me and Alyssa built together over the course of, our time as trainers and coaches, and then our own running experience, kind of what we felt was going to be the best way to PR that race. And I think Alyssa executed it perfectly. And obviously she crushed it and it paid off. So let's not keep everybody waiting. What time did you get? Tell them about it. Tell them about your
Yeah.
final time and how the race went, and some things that you did within the race that helped you get through it, helped you run faster, and some things that you did with fueling and within the race.
Yeah, there's so many different factors to this. So the time that I got was 1:49 and 30 seconds.
And what was
So
your goal?
my goal was 150, sub 150.
So you
So,
crushed it. Yeah.
you know,
Right under it.
right under that. So with that being said, the average mileage time was 8:19. So 8 minutes and 19 seconds. So, that's the average pace, but there's a lot of like hills and things throughout the run that I was mindful of. I run this lake during my training, so I know this lake like the back of my hand. I know the route. The end of the route I didn't know as well, which I'll get into that, but the beginning of the race, I knew where the hills were. I knew when to taper back a little bit. I knew when to pick up speed. Anything downhill, just let your body go. I had a pacer who was absolutely amazing. Actually, no one else was in that group, so it was just me and the pacer.
Yeah, every stop we saw her, like I think we saw her 4 times throughout the race. Every time we saw her, she was like right with Pacer. So it was 8:22 and like he had a red shirt on and she had a white shirt on. I was like, "Oh, there's Alyssa." So it
No,
was perfect. She was like crushing it. Actually, I think you were ahead of pace the first 5 miles. I
yeah,
think you got to us at about an 8:15 average pace. So you guys were pacing a little faster, which was good to
yeah.
start.
There was a couple times that I actually got ahead of the pacer too. I started after the pacer, so when the race goes, the start button goes off, it started like a minute after, everyone else, and so I had to catch up to the pacer, which Jordan was like, "Why did you not start with the pacer?"
Yes, that's a good tip for anybody running a race, especially if it's a half marathon or marathon and you have a goal, a specific goal. Don't be afraid to move up and go when you corral. Don't be afraid to move up to your pacer. Like,
Yeah, I wasn't
you have
being
a lot of
pushy
people,
enough.
because this was a 5K run, 5K walk, 10K run, and a half marathon. And if you're running one of those, if you get caught behind a bunch of people that are either have a pace that's slower than you or are walking, it's going to take a long time to get to the start line. But then also, you're going to be weaving in and out of people and you're going to waste a lot of energy. So go find your pacer, work your way up. It's okay. Just say, excuse me, work past people. And that's a huge tip, that just make sure that you find your pacer, or at least you're close. That way you don't have to weave in and out of people and waste a lot of energy.
I think that would have been a great idea. I think in my mind, in the beginning, I had trained so many times that I, like, knew my pace. I knew
Yeah,
exactly what I
ready for sure.
Yeah, I knew exactly. I felt very confident that I was almost like, "I don't really need that pacer." So, that leads me to my next point too. In the beginning of the race, people take off and they just sprint because the endorphins are high, adrenaline is high, they're, like, ready to roll, super excited. Well, you're sprinting into a hill with this specific race.
Yeah.
It's a very steep hill. With that being said, I knew, okay, just because everyone's sprinting, put blinders on, stay in your own lane, go at your own pace. I knew what pace I needed to hit. We talked about this before I went into it. I knew the pace at that first mile I needed to hit, and I think that's the biggest thing too, is a lot of people wanna start off hot because you feel good, you're ready to go. The half marathon is not a sprint.
No.
It is not a sprint. So you gotta find your groove, you gotta find your pace, and that's why that pacer is there. It's nice to have that pacer, and he or she is gonna show you kind of where to get into rhythm. So eventually I found my pacer, and he, like I said, he did a really good job. He was right on. I think he hit like 150 right on. So that's one tip. Another tip also is the fueling strategy. So, like I said, they have water stops at every 3 or so miles, which I would highly recommend grabbing that if you don't have somebody that is providing you with electrolytes like I did. They also had Gatorade too. Sometimes I would stop and grab a water if I wasn't able to catch up with Jordan until later, and I knew where you were going to be meeting me. So that was nice too, because he talked about each point where he was meeting me. But I would definitely get the water if you don't have somebody that's providing you with that, or the Gatorade here and there too. But a lot of things that I didn't see that people didn't have, or a lot of things I saw that people didn't have, were the gels. I had 3 gels. I had 2 regular gels, and then I had one that was caffeinated. So one that was gonna give me that boost of energy towards the end. Um, these are like lifesaver. You definitely need something quick that's gonna get to your body quick and give you that fuel. The second that I take a gel, it takes a couple seconds, couple minutes to get into the body, but I feel so much better. It's like a power. It gives you this energy, this burst of energy, and I didn't see a lot of people doing that. So if I were you and you are preparing for a race, that is definitely something that I would implement, and I wouldn't do it just the day of the race. This is something that I practiced and strategized where I felt like I needed it most in my training. So I for me, what I did was I used it at 3.5 miles, which is like, just maybe 30 minutes into the run. And then I think I did another one around 6 or 7 miles, and then that caffeinated one was more towards that 10, 11 miles. So every, like, 3 to 4 miles is when I would take the gel, and I felt tremendously better after having that gel.
Yeah, and I think, a lot of people say, like, "Oh, you don't need that many gels, like, you can store carbohydrates in your muscle." Yes, you can, but if you're looking to PR a race, you have a specific goal, you're trying to run fast, you're trying to run hard, you're running high heart rate, that gel, as soon as it hits your tongue, you have the ability to break down carbohydrates as soon as they hit your tongue. And as soon as that carb digests, and actually it really doesn't have to digest, it'll go right into your bloodstream and you're going to use it like that. The process of taking the carbohydrates in your muscle in the form of
That are
glycogen,
stored.
breaking it down, turning it into glucose, and using that as a source of energy is not as fast as that gel. So yes, you need to carb up before the race, the 2 days or the day before a race. It's important to do that. And I've made content about intra fueling strategies. And every time I get comments of, "Oh, you don't need that much. You can store carbs in your muscle." Yes, you can. But if you've never taken a gel on a fast pace run, I'm not talking about a 15-mile easy run, easy pace. You're not pushing pace. A fast pace run that you are trying to PR a race, the gel or chews or some sort of carbohydrate, fast digesting carbohydrate is crucial.
Mhm.
If you're not doing that, like, it'll make a massive difference. Like Alyssa said, it's almost like a boost up. Like, you
Yeah.
immediately feel those carbs in your system because it doesn't take long to digest at all. They can immediately go hit your bloodstream and can be used for your working muscles. So yes, it's important to carb up. It's important to do that a couple days before, but you can't understate the value of using gels, chews, um, dextrose powders or Gatorade powders or cluster dextrin powders. Like, they're going to make a huge difference, especially on race day. But like Alyssa mentioned, I would practice this before. This is something that she's practiced every long run or every fast paced interval farlek style run, that she knows exactly where she needs it. Everybody's a little bit different on what they need. You might only need 2 gels. You might need 4 gels. You might need 1 gel. Like, everybody's a little different. But intra run fueling, especially with the half marathon and marathon distance, you have to have something in the middle of the workout. Otherwise, you're going to bonk, you're going to hit a wall, and it's not going to be fun.
And with that being said, electrolytes are crucial as well. So hydrating before the run, hydrating during the run and hydrating after the run. Something that is super helpful is making sure that you get your electrolytes in after the run, because I think there was a time a few years back when Jordan and I did the half marathon. We both felt like we had the flu because we did not hydrate properly after the run. We did all the things before, but it was the post run where you just feel like you're like, I've been drinking tons of water, but your body needs those electrolytes to get rehydrated again. And you will feel like you have the flu if you don't do that. I
Yeah.
promise. And you're going to feel like crap, especially eating something. Like when you're done, you might be like, "Oh, I did, 13 miles and they have caramel apples here and they got cider here and all that stuff sounds great." But I highly advise you not to go towards those things. I did not actually go towards those things. I went home and had egg whites and some waffles and
Some electrolytes.
electrolytes, and I fueled my body and I felt great.
Well, Alyssa's a different beast. Most people are not as disciplined as her. Egg whites and waffles and electrolytes. But yes,
Protein,
the
yeah.
point is like make sure that you're feeling after
Yes.
your race that you run, especially the electrolytes. If you guys are looking for a great new electrolyte, we do have our own Pink Starburst electrolyte. It has 0 grams of added sugar, 500 milligrams of sodium, 400 milligrams of potassium, and 40 milligrams of magnesium. Has everything that you need, nothing that you don't. It's naturally sweetened. It tastes freaking awesome. So I'll leave the link to our Pink Starburst electrolytes down in the description below. We'll even leave you a discount code if you would like to check them out. I promise you, you're going to love them. They taste freaking awesome. They're amazing to use around your training, even during your strength training workouts, your runs, pre and post, or intra run if it's a really long run. It's going to help you stay hydrated. It's going to replenish what you lose. And it's a big part of the hydration process, especially if you're training hybrid where you're lifting and you're running. So overall, I think Alyssa crushed her half marathon. It was really fun to watch. It was something that I did feel bummed that I couldn't run it, but I was happy that I could be there to watch you crush it. It's been fun to see you progress over this 12 weeks throughout this plan. You can literally see that you're getting faster, but you're becoming more aerobically and anaerobically efficient. And that's really cool to see. So I can't state enough that it's so important to follow a program and follow a plan. And if you guys are someone that is looking for a plan, we're coaches here. We're personal trainers and gym owners in Nebraska, but we do also offer online coaching where we work with people to build muscle, build strength, improve at running, lose body fats, and all kinds of fitness goals. So if you are looking for a plan and you're tired of guessing, we would love to help out any way that we can. I'll leave the link to our online coaching forum down in the comment section below, where you can click on that link and you can schedule time to talk with us and we can chat more about your goals and tell you more about how we can help. So overall, any closing thoughts on your half marathon?
I don't think so. Just if you're someone who's looking to crush your half marathon, we're here to help.
Yeah. And, I think moving forward on this podcast, we're going to keep posting hybrid content. We've been off our game these last couple weeks. We've just had a lot of life things going on.
Yeah.
Busy here at the gym. We're busier than we've ever been with our coaching. We got new equipment. We just put in saunas. Like Alyssa said, we had a death in the family. Like last couple weeks have been really rough, really busy. So we haven't posted a podcast in a couple weeks, but we're back on our game, ready to keep posting our content and keep helping you guys. So we're going to keep posting all kinds of fitness content type of videos, building strength, building muscle, increasing mobility, becoming faster as a runner, losing body fats, nutrition, all sorts of topics. So if you want to see those videos in the future, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, or if you have any ideas for topics, we're always taking ideas. Just let us know down in the comment section below. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Go check out these videos on the top of the screen next, and we'll see you guys in the next one.